Hello and welcome to your ACCA Management Accounting course, and welcome to First Intuition if this is your first online course with us. This short video is looking at giving you an introduction to management accounting and the course as a whole, but most crucially is trying to give you some hints and tips to help you plan your studies over the next few weeks. As is the case with any ACCA exam, the key to passing is being well prepared. This is making sure that you have acquired all the relevant knowledge and the exam skills ahead of your exam, and this will make sure that you are confident going into the exam and hopefully can enjoy the real thing on the day. The first thing to consider is whether you've received all of your course resources. So as well as access to our online platform, FI Learn, you should also receive a physical copy or hard copy of your First Intuition course notes and your First Intuition question bank. Now, the First Intuition course notes are a chapter by chapter coverage of the syllabus. And in each chapter, you will have some dedicated illustrations and lecture examples, which will show you how the examiner might test these different areas of the syllabus. Your First Intuition course notes are supported by a series of online lectures which are provided on FI Learn. This is the tutor walking you through the chapter content and walking you through the lecture examples. On screen, you can see an image from FI Learn for the ACCA Management Accounting course. You are currently in the Getting Started tab, but as you progress through your course notes, you'll be able to click into each of the individual chapters and access the lectures for those specific chapters. Your First Intuition question bank is broken down by chapter and contains exam standard questions for you to practice. In FI Learn, you can see that below the chapter videos, you have access to the online question bank, and further down, you will then have access to a couple of question debriefs. These are videos of the tutor talking you through the answer to a question and highlighting some useful bits of exam technique. You can see not every question has a debrief, but the ones that do have an icon which flags that they have them within the question bank. Finally, you are also provided with some Test Your Learning tests. So these are additional exam standard questions which are grouped together on FI Learn as checkpoints. You can see that these checkpoints are after a series of chapters, so they are a good stopping point to see how you've got on up until this stage. You can try these tests as many times as you want, and it's quite useful to track your scores to see how you are improving. So in terms of approaching your studies, you're looking at first working through a particular chapter in your course notes. Once you've completed that chapter, you will then try the questions from the question bank for that chapter. Once you've completed the questions from the question bank, you can then try the Test Your Learning tests to see how much you've taken away. When attempting questions, it is really important that you never go straight to the answer. So give it a go and see how you get on. Trying the questions, seeing where you get stuck, will help you learn from your mistakes. The final useful resource which is provided to you on FI Learn is down at the bottom. You are given a Reference Resources tab. In here you have electronic versions of your course notes and question bank, but in addition you are also provided with a study text. This is the underlying detailed syllabus coverage. We wouldn't recommend working from this as your main source for studying, but it is a useful bit of background reading if there is a particular area that you are struggling with, as there could be some extra examples provided in here. But your course notes provide the key information that will help you pass the exam. For management accounting, we also provide you with an additional maths course, which gives you a little bit of revision on some of the core math skills that you may need to complete this content. So what will you be facing on exam day? Well, the management accounting paper is a 2-hour computer-based exam. And as it's 2 hours long, you're looking at about 120 minutes. The exam covers 100 marks. So effectively, this means that you are looking at 1.2 minutes per mark. The reason that I'm calculating this is that this is quite a time-pressured exam, so you will need to be making sure that you stay on top of your time and that you are incorporating this into your question practice and revision phase. Now, the exam itself is broken down into 2 sections. You've got section A, which are 35 objective test questions, and you've got section B, which is 3 multitask questions. So section A, when we talk about objective test questions, we mean multiple choice questions, and these are individual questions, each worth 2 marks. They are all or nothing, so that means that even if you're selecting multiple things within a question, if you get one of them wrong, you'd lose all the marks. If they are 2 marks each at 1.2 minutes per mark, you're looking at 2.4 minutes per question. Your section B is 3 multitask questions. And when we talk about multitask questions, we're talking about questions which have a short scenario and then a couple of objective test questions related to that one scenario. So each question is worth 10 marks. So you're looking at about 5 questions for each short scenario. Now, in terms of the styles of questions that you have, so we've got some more information down here. When we talk about them being objective tests, so you have your standard multiple choice questions, select 1 from 2, 1 from 3, or 1 from 4. You've got multiple response, which means you're selecting more than one of the options that is provided. You've got a matching question, so link different answers together. You've got number entry, so do a calculation and then fill in the number. You've got gap fill, which is entering into blank spaces, so fill in the blank. And then you've got hotspot, which is where you're potentially choosing 1 or 2 more areas on an image, so maybe on a graph, for example. So lots of different question styles that you will be exposed to. And these questions can come up both as objective test questions and part of your multitask questions. The ones that are specific to multitask are your gap fill and hotspot. The overall pass mark for the paper is 50%. So you need to score 50% to pass management accounting. Please note that under the Getting Started tab, we have an additional bit of guidance on how to book your exam. This is something that you will need to do by yourself, and FI are not involved in this process.